Hi, Joe Freeman, Mike Richman with the Oregonian and OregonLive. We left the end of the Hawks game wondering if maybe, just maybe, the Blazers had finally started to build a little momentum. Yeah, maybe. Took another step towards that momentum anyway on Sunday night when they beat the San Antonio Spurs 111 to 110. A very fun to watch, exciting game, offensive-minded. Coach Terry Stotts celebrated the fact that they scored 111 points afterwards, and a lot of interesting storylines. Mo Harkless goes from DMP to difference maker. Shabazz Napier has another incredible game off the, or actually I guess he did start tonight, and that was the news. Just about an hour before tip-off, Damian Lillard elected not to play with a strained right calf, so the Blazers went in shorthanded against the Spurs. What else did we see? C.J. McCollum hit a game winner with 5.9 seconds left.
LaMarcus Aldridge missed a game winner.
LaMarcus Aldridge, as we've seen so many times before when he was with the Blazers, missed a chance to win the game at the buzzer. A lot of stuff going on tonight.
Yeah, I think Terry Stotts liked that they scored 111, particularly because the Spurs scored 110. That was probably a big one for him. The Blazers, they looked... You know, we've seen them play the last 3 games better offense, and I think that continued, particularly in the second half. Third quarter, they looked like they were let this game slip away down 12. Shabazz Napier was huge in the third, kind of got them back in the game and made it a toss-up late. And then in the last 3 minutes, there was 4 lead changes. Manu Ginobili, who's just a gem. If you get a chance to watch him, make sure you do it. 26 points off the bench for the 40-year-old. Nearly shot the Spurs back into the game, but then C.J. McCollum delivered late. LaMarcus Aldridge was dominant until the game was on the line, and then he missed 2 free throws and the game winner. This was about as much as you could have possibly hoped for sort of the shorthanded Blazers versus the even more shorthanded Spurs. But I do think there is some concern about Damian Lillard's calf. It is, you know, he was ruled out about an hour before the game. The players didn't find out he wasn't going to play until the team meeting, which happens about a half hour before tip-off. That's a pretty big deal. Usually you let these guys know when their captain isn't going to play. That calf injury is the same leg where he had the right hamstring issue that caused him to miss 5 games, nearly 2 weeks. He came back, he was really hobbled walking around pregame, and then he comes out and decides not to play, or he's ruled out by the medical staff, probably more accurately. That's probably a concern, but it's not that big of a concern when they win.
Yeah, and he was irritated when he spoke to reporters before the game, referring to Damian. And you know, the fact that it is related to that same hamstring injury, I think, is a little worrisome. I think he probably did want to play, but Blazers used caution by holding him out. That said, his not playing allowed Mo Harkless to play. It was pretty much assumed a role only when Damian Lillard doesn't play. And at least on this night, it was much needed. He finished with 19 points, I think 5 rebounds and 2 blocked shots, made 7 of 10 shots, hit 3 threes, was all over the place, and had some very important defense down the stretch against Manu, the aforementioned ageless wonder, who was killing the Blazers right and left until Mo ended up guarding him late. So a really a difference-making game for him, and it's hard to describe. I mean, I can't because I'm not an NBA player, but going from DMP to with such a big role has got to be tough. But it's kind of been that kind of season for Mo, who obviously starting out in the starting lineup and then has been now out of the rotation altogether. But here we are, leads to a little bit of that aforementioned momentum for your Blazers, who hold the presses. They've won 5 out of their last 7 games.
Red hot and rolling.
Gets a lot tougher now, though. We're heading out on a 4-game trip at OKC, at Houston. Help me out here. Where else are they?
New Orleans and then Minnesota. So 4 Western Conference playoff teams, a back-to-back, and then closing on the road at Minnesota. That's going to be we're going to find out a lot in the next week, whether Dame plays or not, sort of where the Blazers are.
And then we'll talk to you when we get back afterward.